these next important stories, we've left the studio and hit the streets.
We're along I-43 at Green Tree Road in Glendale, where on any given Sunday, thousands of people will get behind the wheel after a Packers game and after having a few drinks.
In Wisconsin, we have a deep-rooted culture of drinking. We're home to Miller, Pabst, Schlitz, division champs Milwaukee Brewers. Laverne and Shirley even worked at a Milwaukee brewery. It's a tradition we are proud of, and we should be.
But we also have to face the facts. Every 3 hours in this state, a person is killed or injured in an alcohol-related crash.
And it's that decision to drive after drinking that we want to change.
Today's TMJ4, along with our sister station in Green Bay, WGBA, created a group of influencers to help shape our new way of thinking.
It consists of families who have lost loved ones to drunk driving, attorneys who fight for justice, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, and authorities who see the real impact of drunk driving every day.
This is called Project Drive Sober, and for the next many months, we are dedicated to sharing stories, saving lives, and keeping Wisconsin's roads safe.
And it all starts right now. Here's Shannon Sims.
This is where the decision starts. For some of you, it's at the bar. For others, it may be a friend's house or maybe the parking lot tailgating. But take a look at this. 4 bottles of beer. That's how many drinks a 180-pound man can drink in about an hour to be legally impaired. In Wisconsin, that's anything over 0.08. And the average 140-pound woman, just 2. If you make the decision to drive after drinking, it could affect more people than you think. And no one knows that better than Marla Hall of Waterloo. This is Marla's story.
Since I've had it, I don't take it off.
Marla Hall holds tight to the memory of her son, Clinton.
He was at the Fonz.
Images of the 26-year-old through the years adorn every corner of Hall's Waterloo home.
He'd walk in and he'd come over and he'd pick me up and throw me over his shoulders, you know.
Those visits and nightly calls after a long day of work, she misses more and more these days. To fill the deafening silence of his absence, she plays a video recording every night before she goes to sleep.
I'm gonna miss you in Atlanta. Love Pleasant.
2 years ago on November 2nd,
Like my worst nightmare had come true.
the world as Marla knew it came to a screeching halt.
I had to call the medical examiner, and all I kept was screaming, "Tell me it's not true, tell me it's not true." And she kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Clinton was riding home with his co-workers from a work trip in La Crosse. They were an hour from home when State Trooper Sergeant Craig Morehouse heard a dispatcher warning of an impaired driver swerving on I-94 near Deerfield.
And I was trying to catch up to the vehicle when all of a sudden I had headlights coming at me in the left lane of the interstate.
Minutes later, court records say Bryson Wilson slammed head-on into 2 cars.
But as the details started coming out,
I was furious. We know what bar he was at and what he was drinking, beer and shots. And 30 minutes later when he left, he killed them. Killed 4 people instantly.
Marla's son Clinton, his co-workers Kimberly Radke, and his girlfriend Katie Pasqualini all died on impact, along with the driver of the second car.
Well, why couldn't it have been me? He had his whole life ahead of him.
Bryson Wills was deemed incompetent to stand trial because of his injuries from the crash. His trial has been indefinitely suspended. Marla refused to let Clinton's death be in vain, so she took her concerns to lawmakers in Madison.
In the first hearing I went to, which was probably, it was 4 or 5 months after the crash, and it was very emotional, and I told them, the blood of my son is on your hands. Because they won't do anything for drunk driving. If they would pass some stricter laws as other states, because we are the most lenient, how many lives would be saved? Innocent lives.
Wisconsin is the only state in the nation where your first offense is a traffic ticket. Marla turned her pain into action, creating the Eliminate Drunk Driving Education Foundation.
And I never realized there were so many out there making that decision 24/7.
That decision to get behind the wheel drunk is a problem this mom is willing to take on.
So we want to see Wisconsin make first offense OWI a misdemeanor.
Marla knows she will never see her son grow old, get married, or have grandchildren. But for Clinton and others, she continues to fight.
Oh, I can't give up. If I give up, I'll just... It just seems so unreal still to this day.
Marla's story is a powerful story, but it's not the only one. We'll talk to a number of families over the course of Project Drive Sober. We'll also look at the arrests, prosecution, and so much more. Look, we're not saying don't go out and have a good time and don't drink. We're just saying if you drink, make the choice to not drive. That decision is yours.
Make the wrong decision and you could end up here in the back of a squad car.
You guys ready?
My photographer and I rode along with Milwaukee County deputies to see firsthand what happens when you decide to drink and drive on Wisconsin roads. We meet up with Deputy Lacey Gary around 10:30. It's Friday night. Game 6 of the NLCS is just wrapping up at Miller Park. So is the Bucks home opener at Pfizer Forum. Deputy Gary is on OWI patrol and has one goal for the night.
And all squads reference that reckless driver 94 westbound Hawley.
Get drunk drivers off the road.
We're just going to hover in the hot spots, which is basically the Marquette interchange.
Not even 5 minutes into her shift.
Hold on a second.
She hits the gas to catch up to a car.
I'm trying to catch that car without lights on. That's a standard OWI.
That's a pretty typical DUI.
We get a lot of people that are intoxicated that forget to turn their lights on.
She finds weed in that car.
It's the only thing in the car.
The only thing in the car, man.
All right, give it to me.
But because the driver isn't impaired, he's allowed to go with a ticket. Over the next few hours, we see cars cross into other lanes.
Okay, the reason I stopped is you didn't have a lot of problems staying in your lane.
Blow traffic lights.
You just ran that red light.
And weave into traffic.
You're all over the road.
Oh, really?
You're not staying in your lane. You got your blinker on.
Some of the drivers aren't drunk, just distracted.
When you have groups of traffic like this, you're looking for the one that is obviously driving different than everyone else.
It doesn't take long, though, to find an impaired driver.
3-7 dispatch violator.
This one still in his Brewers jersey.
How much you had to drink tonight? A beer, that's it.
Drivers who
Back
smell of
towards my
alcohol
car.
or drugs are taken
Come
out
back
of their
here.
car and questioned.
I ain't gonna lie. I try to eat some of the weed. You know what I'm saying?
You ate some?
Some then go through a sobriety check.
When I tell you to, you're going to pick either foot of your choice. It's up to you. You're going to lift it 6 inches off the ground.
This man struggles to hold up his foot.
Yeah, he was actually leaning on her push bar of her squad while he was trying to balance.
Another can't walk a straight line.
3 not heel to toe.
Both men are eventually given breath tests.
And blow. Go, 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 go. Sir, do you know what the legal limit is in the state of Wisconsin? What does that say? 0.148. Okay, turn around, face my car for me, please.
And just like that, their car is towed and they're heading to jail.
Are you frustrated when you're on OWI patrol and you see like so many drunk drivers in a night?
It is frustrating because we're out here every weekend and people know we're out here. Initially, I think when I first came out here and started doing OWIs, I was surprised at how many there were out here. But now that I've been out here so long, it's almost normal, unfortunately.
According to the Department of Transportation, 1 in 10 Wisconsin residents have been convicted of at least one OWI. To put that into perspective, Miller Park holds about 42,000 people on a sold-out night. That means more than 4,000 fans have been convicted of an OWI.
We still get a lot of first offenders. Still people making the choice to drive. And, I mean, I'm sure it's not the first time, it's just the time they got caught.
Deputy Gary says even getting one driver off the road is worth it.
It makes you feel good to get somebody that's been drinking off the road before they hurt themselves or someone else.
Some of the people you saw were arrested, but they're presumed innocent until proven guilty. Deputies tell me they see most drunk drivers on the roads on the weekends between 1 and 3 a.m., but it can happen at any time. Reporting in Wauwatosa, Rebecca Clough, today's TMJ4.
You've heard of families affected by drunk driving. You've seen the real consequences.
What else do you want to see? What questions do you have? Contact us right now by sending an email to drivesober@tmj4.com.
Or you can call us at 866-WI-SOBER. Remember, the decision is yours.
Please choose to drive sober.
Weather Kit